folks, Louis with Hydromaster. Today we're going to show you the proper way to grease the Zerk fittings on a CDS drive shaft. Hydromaster's been using this same drive shaft for quite a few years, I believe back to about 2008. So it should look similar on very recent CDS's. You're going to have on the drive line, you're going to have a Zerk on two of the outside caps at the U-joint. You're going to have one on the spline here. It's going to grease the spline. And then you're going to have the same two U-joints on the caps on the rear U-joint that's going to connect to your blower shaft. So the spline side is always on the blower shaft. Side without the spline is always up under the hood at the clutch. So important to know, the U-joint underneath the hood is the most important one to make sure that it's always accepting grease into the U-joints. So real quick, we're going to show you on our center cowling, we do have a label with the instructions, the procedure and specifications. So you will see the intervals for lubricating your drive line is every 500 hours, except for if you're operating in temperatures above 95 degrees, then you should be cutting that in half to every 250 hours. My personal recommendation is that you just lubricate every 250 hours no matter what. That'll keep you in the safe zone to never break that front U-joint. The lubrication that Hydromaster recommends, and it's really the only grease that we recommend, is the Mobile Delvac Extreme Grease. Extreme temp. This is made for extreme temperatures that are under the hood, up to 350 degrees. That's the grease. It is a brownish red color that you'll see. And now I'll just show you kind of the process that you want to see when you're greasing the Zerks. You're going to make sure when you connect your grease fitting to the Zerk, you should feel it click in. It's kind of hard to remove there. And that way you know it's completely engaged and the grease is going to be accepted through the seals. So I'm going to pump the grease. There's one pump, two pump, and you can already see the grease starting to leak out of the seals, and that's what you want to see. This is a new shaft, so it has new grease in it, but normally you would see black grease coming out of there, and you want to flush the old grease out until the new grease is coming through. A few pumps on each Zerk. You do want to make sure that that grease is getting spread to each of the four caps. You can see it coming out there, see it coming out there, and now when I take it to the other side, it'll distribute the grease even better. Sometimes it's tricky to get the fitting off of the Zerk. Just kind of wiggle it around. So again, you want to pump it until it's pushing the old grease out. And you want to visibly see grease coming out of all four seals. Once you confirm that grease is coming out of all the seals, then you're going to take and wipe up all the excess. This is an important step so that you don't make a mess all up under the hood or inside the van with the grease. So wipe away all the grease until it's all cleaned up. And then you'll do the same back here on the spline. And when you grease the spline, you're going to see grease protrude out of the spline. Same thing. Push out the old grease, wipe that up. Do the same thing that we did on the front U-joint on the rear U-joint at the blower. This will be inside the cab, just like this. Over here. So the rear U-joint will hook up to this shaft here, and that's where you'll be greasing the rear U-joint. And then the other two Zerk fittings you want to hit every 500 or 250 hours is on the pillow block bearings for this shaft. You have one here to grease. And then on the back side, you'll have a Zerk fitting on the rear pillow block. And that one is on the opposite, so it's on the top and the front one is on the bottom. Okay, now we're looking at a real CDS here. It's a CDS SV installed into a 6.6 liter engine. You can see by removing, show the here, by removing the air filter housing and the hose to the air intake, that's a couple minute process. Just remove those two things and you can access the area to grease your front U-joint. As you can see, the Zerk fitting here, and I can actually spin with the engine off, obviously, to get to the other Zerk just by spinning, grabbing the front plate of the clutch, and that'll turn that drive shaft over so you can grease this second one. So you can see how easy the application is on a V8 6.6 CDS SV. You see grease application. Turn it over to get to the other Zerk. Push our grease through. You can see the old grease coming through and the new grease pushing into the seal. And that, folks, is how you grease your drive line for your CDS. Thanks for watching.